Oh, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. It's 2 minutes past 8. We're late. Good morning, everybody. Shaky Bums is Friday. What was Shaky Bum? It's Friday.
My bum shaking.
His bum shake's not ready. You're not ready, are you?
No.
He is not ready to shake his bum. He's not out of bed. He's just not out of bed in time. How are you all, Shaky Bum? It is Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Friday. I just double checking. Who is first off the post this morning? Mike Boss is first off the post. Good morning. Hello, Mr. Boss. How are you? Good morning, Diane Ivory. Good morning, Joanne Smith. We've got the usual suspects coming through. How are you all feeling this morning? It is Friday at the end of week 17. Week 17. I was just doing a little calculation this morning. This is show number 85. 85. I have been live 85 times, like Monday to Friday, every week since the start of lockdown. That is mental. 85. That's 85 times that you've had to. Well, that we've played Wallace Roulette, actually, isn't it?
Yes.
85 shows. I can't believe it. So, on a Friday, we shake our bums because we survived another week. I want to know, what music are you shaking your bums to this morning? If there is a piece of music that has you shaking your bums, it's interesting. We started, so as you know, me and Nikki James started the Rockstar Level Up Mastermind that began this week. So everybody was on. We sold it out. It's 20 people, and we were asking what was their rock star song. And I want to ask you guys the same thing. And what is your rock star song? So for me, I quite enjoy Macklemore, Can't Hold Us. It's probably my amp up song backstage before I go on and speak. What is your rock star song? What is your song to get you having a boogie, to get you shaking your bums, ready for the weekend? I also want to know, are there any song lyrics that you have misconceived or misheard? Because I was just thinking about that then in my mind. Do you know that song? Ooh, I put on my shoes and I'm ready for the weekend. Right? So I'm thinking that's a great song for the weekend. But back when it first came out, me and my friend used to hear I buttered my shoes and I'm ready for the weekend, ready to slide into the weekend. In my mind, it made a lot of sense. And then there was another song, Gala. What was it called? Freed from Desire. Only I heard, my love, he wears Armani, he's got a trampoline, which didn't make any sense. So I want to know in the comments, have you got any misheard lyrics for you? Mary J. Blige, Fine, yes. Can't Stop the Feeling, Justin Timberlake. Let's get a playlist together to shake our bums to. Ready for the weekend. You Overdid It, Doll by the Cortinas. Thought It Was You Are a Potato. I love it. Kimberly, I know what Kimberly's is. It's savage. Classic, bullshit, ratchet. Like, but that gets stuck in your head, doesn't it? Like, I'm feeling it this morning. I'm feeling the music this morning. I've got it in my heart. I want us to play some songs this morning to get us feeling amped up. Florence and the Machine. Thought It Was, you're giving me such sweet elephants. Oh my god, you guys, this is brilliant. We should start this every Friday like this. Give me some more misheard lyrics. I butter my shoes and I'm ready for the weekend was one. My love, he wears Armani, he's got a trampoline. That's another one that I used to like sort of hear but not hear. Rosa, my actual song that gets me motivated is Whole Lot of Rosie by AC/DC or Last Damn Night by El King. Nice. I always feel like someone is watching me. I thought it was on a speedboat. I'm on a speedboat. Somebody's watching me. Oh, you guys are killing me. Whoever's the Facebook user, do me a favor, go to the title of the, because I need to know who's responsible for this. I need you to go to the title of the that's better. Stop me lighting out. Go to the title of the live and go and give StreamYard permission so that we can see who it is. Lisa, Radio 1 played Britney, My Prerogative this morning. Nice. Is anybody else concerned for Britney? I am concerned for Britney Spears. I'm not going to lie. I followed her TikTok And I'm like, we need to ask if Britney Spears is okay. Does she need our help? Because she's not looking right good at the minute. God bless her. There was some crazy things happening over on her TikTok. Okay, so next job on the to-do list before we invite our incredible guest on this morning. We've got Sarie Taylor on this morning. We've got some things to talk about. I'm super excited. But before we do, let's do the weather, the shit weather, everybody. What's the weather doing where you are? Let me know. Where are you watching from in the world? Just stuck my head. Oh, you lot. Preston has got some sunshine this morning. Look at this. A little sunny bee in the Preston area, peeping through the clouds, but it is definitely there. Absolutely, she needs a night out with us. God bless her. She does. I wouldn't let her go back to her handlers. I would not. I can see. Yes, I can see your name now. I love the fact that it's you even more now that I know that you're singing "I'm on a speedboat." Somebody's watching me. Blue skies, Vicky. Oh, we got a little bit of sunny bees going on this morning over in the Norfolk area. Amazing. It's wet AF, but promising sky with Cheshire. So we've got a rainy bee over in the Cheshire area. That's all right. We've got, that rainy bee did not want to stay on that rainy bee. He's a little bit hungover from school night drinking. There we go. Blue skies in Derbyshire this morning. Oh, look at these sunny bees coming out. Look, let's move Cheshire down a bit. We're being, we're having some poetic license with the geography of the thing. Kent is cloudy but sun to come. So we've got to start out. It's a bit shit in Kent this morning. Just so I feel like, we've got an advantage on the weather today instead of it just being, sunny in Kent and nobody else. Rainy in northeast London today. Rainy in northeast London. There we go. Just below the Watford Gap. Over here, there we go, London. It's a little bit rainy. Where else are we? Sunny in Nottingham, right in the middle. We've got some sunshine in the middle there. Rain in Cheshire. Let's move Cheshire down. There we go. We'll represent that way, shall we? Where else are you in the world? Because I know we have a little bit of an international audience. So I know Helen watches from the south of France. We've got people over in New Zealand, in Las Vegas, in Austria, in Italy, in South Africa. Where are you watching from in the world? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what the weather's doing where you are. The reason we talk about the weather is just because that's what British people do, and I'm not a proper weather girl, so I don't have the proper weather. I can't forecast anything. I can only deal in real. I can only deal with what's going on outside of the window, which is what we should be doing anyway. Anyway, shall we get the show started? Let's do it. Oh, my phone agreed. I should have turned it on silent. This morning, we have got fabulous mindset coach Sarie Taylor joining us in the show in lieu of the applause button. Hit the like, hit the love button, hit the share button. Let's get some more people watching the show. Let's bring her in to the stream. Sarie Taylor, everybody.
Hi.
Wild. Wow. That's what happens. That's what they're all doing. More like this. Yeah. We've just been kind of in the green room area, haven't we? And I've just been frantically putting on a little bit because stealing rosy my cheeks up. I have just fallen out of bed. I did start the week saying I've got to get up early this week. Facebook, I'm going to try my level best. Today, I did not win. I got out of bed just in time to send you the link.
Yeah, you've made it though. That is the main thing. You've made it.
That's it. That is it. At least I didn't not and stay in bed, which is, what it could happen one of these days. I'm not. It's like playing roulette with myself. Am I going to wake up this morning? So far, we are on episode 85. So welcome to our 85th episode, Sarie.
I can't believe when you said that. That is some graft. That is unbelievable.
I think I'm just stupid. I think that's what it is. I'm daft. It's not graft. It's daft is what it is. So, Sarie, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for getting up early with us. I know it's an ungodly hour when you don't have to be up. I'm feeling like so weirdly lit today because yesterday, just before the show started, my other ring light went with a bang. So the power pack that like fuels my that electrifies my ring light over on this side of the room. So I'm like, I've got the weirdest light. Look, this is like I'm in Cocoon if I do this. If I was in the film Cocoon, that's what I would look like.
You look about 4 years of age when you do that.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Like, light me up. I am a child. Right. Let's get down to business. Sarie, good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
So,
Thank you for having
Luce, you are so welcome. Thank you for coming on. I've loved chatting to you so far this morning in the Green Room area. And let's share you with everybody now. Sarie, how do we meet? How have we Sarie? What?
Sarie, yes, please.
My God. We were just saying that with your name, you must get all sorts of different.
I do.
Like,
loads of versions of it, like every version. And you know, sometimes people, I mean, I've got people that have known me for years. So the guy who runs the Institute for Psychotherapy where I trained still calls me Sarie. I think he still calls, and he's known me for years. But when you correct people initially and they keep going, it gets to the point where, not because I'm like, oh, forget it, and I'm not bothered by it, but I do just leave it. And I'm like, well, that's their version of me. I'm fine with that. But people say to me, it must really annoy you. I'm just like, oh, no, I'm fine with it. You know,
it's all right. It's gonna get it. It's tight now. It's more about them than it is about you at this point. You don't want to be horrible to. Do you know what? You've been saying my name wrong for the last 6 years, mate. But I'm not going to correct you. Like, who's being mean to who? Then by that point, you've just got to let it go, haven't you?
Yeah, just don't. And to be honest, I'm so used to it now. And then when he introduces me to people, so I've got like a whole group and network of people that use certain versions of my name.
I want to get it right from the start for this group of people, and it is Sarie Taylor, isn't it?
Sarie, like Harry with an S, yes.
We had Inga Hunter on, social media wizard Inga Hunter on the other week. She introduces herself as Inga. It's Minga without the M.
Love it.
And then she tells us it's spelled minge without the M. So that's just, if you're going to go for it,
you're not going to forget that, are you, with that?
Absolutely. She called her whole podcast is called Minga without the M.
It's brilliant.
So I feel like if you've not got a podcast, it should be Sounds Like Harry. For that, I feel like we've just named your podcast now. If you don't have one already, you can have that for free, babes. Oh, sorry. Tell everybody how we come across each other, because this is new. We have not met.
No, we haven't. We came across. We're in the same PR group with Joe.
Yes, the incredible Joe, one of Chocolate PR.
Yes, and you were, I think, kind of when that sort of started. That was when you was building up to your big festoon.
Yes, my God.
And so I think over that time, I think you stood out for me in that group because it was like, because there was such a build up to it.
Yeah,
I felt like I'd seen you every day for.
And it was a huge. I mean, it was a huge national campaign. So and Joe Swan and Joe Maloney, the team at Chocolate PR, really led that from the front. I was doing all the like backstage stuff and the going live stuff and all of the, collating people, and they were doing all the press and the press that they created. I think like we ran a report afterwards and we reached 1.5 million people with the big festoon thanks to Chocolate PR. It was crazy.
Amazing. So good. And then it's funny, isn't it? Because then you start to realize, and this happens all the time, I think the world is literally so small, and then you start to realize, oh, they know that person that I know, and you just realize that we're all connected.
We are all connected. We are indeed all connected. So, Sarie, tell us about what you do, because what you do is awesome, and I love rounding out Fridays with people like you. I love it.
What do I do? Well, I'm a trained psychotherapist. I'm trained in loads of stuff. So hypnotherapy, NLP, CBT, DBT, you name it. I've got the bloody certificate. But more predominantly now I do coaching with people because I'm quite direct. I'm quite solution focused. I'm quite, let's get this stuff done. Let's get this change happening. And I think part of that is because I suffered for so many years myself. And now I've come the other side of it. I'm like, right, you don't need to be spending 15 years in misery like me. Come on, let's get you sorted. Yeah. So I tend to do a lot of coaching now. I work with families, children, adults, couples, you name it. Because ultimately, whether our issue is our relationship, anxiety, parenting, it all comes down to the same thing. So I work with everyone and anything in anything mindset, just getting people unstuck, to be honest.
It's funny, isn't it, how everybody in their own little world, in their own little silos, in their mind, thinks that they are the only people, A, the only people going through what it is that they're going through, and B, the only people going through it in the way that they're going through it. And actually, when you boil it back, the themes are very, very similar. You know, not that you know, everybody is unique, of course, but it's people don't realize just how unalone they are in the way that they're feeling or the way that they react to stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we're all so unique, you're right, and individual, but ultimately the one thing that we've absolutely all got in common is that we're human beings. And for me, what changed my life was understanding, actually, as it might sound a bit cliche, but actually understanding what it meant to be a human being took a lot of the fear away for me. And I think that no matter who you are and what your quirks are and what your insecurities are, we're all the same in that we all work the same way because we're human beings. And once you understand that, it is just, it's proper cheesy to say, but it's life changing. It was for me anyway.
It's like when I mean this is quite broad, but when I was younger, there was a book that we'd got off a car boot, and it was about cat behavior. And we brought up with cats. We were cat people. We didn't realize we were dog people till we got dogs. But there was this book on cat behavior and explained how cats react in different ways and what they do. So physically, what they do when they feel a certain way, when they feel angry or in conflict, they will flick their tail. When they are fearful or when they are aggressive, they will put their ears back, or they will hiss, or they will fluff up their fur and make themselves bigger. Or, you know, when they are excited, their ears will go forward so they can hear more. So they have physical reactions to their surroundings. And I think lots of people forget that we have behaviors that do that as well. So when people are feeling certain ways about stuff, like you said, because we are human, we have a set of reactions, just like cats do, just like dogs do. When they feel threatened or confused or conflicted, they will behave a certain way. And we don't like to think of ourselves as animals. We don't. We're far too precious. You know, we don't. You know, I talk about this with speaking. You know, one of the reasons why people don't like speaking is because they're positioning themselves as alpha. The potential outcome is that they could get cast out from the tribe and starve. We don't realize that that's us being animals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's survival at the end of the day, and that's the bit I think where sometimes, you know, for years because I suffered with really severe anxiety to the point where I was hospitalized in my early 20s. And I think for years it was kind of like that sort of trying not to, or not understanding or not able to see that, I'm going into fight or flight because this is how you survive. And actually, I'm sending a message to my brain every 5 minutes that I'm in some sort of danger. And because I didn't really understand that, it's a vicious cycle, because then you send yourself into this kind of adrenaline fest and you're all overwhelmed. And then rather than just letting that settle, we then go, oh, now why do I feel dizzy? Why do I feel sick? And it just goes on and on and on, you know, to the point where we can make ourselves really quite ill with it. Yeah,
absolutely. And then when you're flooding yourself in that way with, you know, with fight or flight, with adrenaline, with cortisol, all the stress hormones, my mum's having an experience at the moment. She won't mind me sharing. She's having an experience at the moment with anxiety. My stepdad ain't right good. And she's worried. And she's wondering why she can't sleep at night. But she can't sleep at night because her brain doesn't think she's safe.
No.
So it's not safe for her to sleep.
Yeah.
So she will fall asleep, but then she'll wake up and then that's it. She's awake then. But her body, her animal body, doesn't think that her position is safe. So why would it encourage her to relax and sleep? Because she's got to be on alert.
Yeah, and I think do you know that part of the brain that does that says, oh, we'll respond to danger? It's the part of the brain where it's really primal. So it's not that clever. It's not the clever part of the brain.
No.
So it doesn't anticipate that your mom is kind of like, okay, maybe you don't have to worry about this so much right now. Let's see what happens. It's just taking what she's telling it, which is, oh my God, what's going to happen? Will it be okay? It's just taking that as an absolute definite and responding in that way. And I think I was a control freak for years. And I think that it was part of having to give up that I can't control what happens. I can't control what happens in the next 5 minutes, never mind the next 5 months.
Yeah.
And it's only then that when you start, I mean, we all worry, of course we do. We can all lie in bed at night and have this really random thought of, as a parent, it's like, oh, imagine if anything happened to my child. It's like awful, uncomfortable thought that we didn't ask for. It just pops in.
Oh.
But it's then what you do with it. I can sit there ruminating and going over it for the next hour, or I can just accept it's just a thought. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Let it go. Let it do its thing. And I think that's what I think we believe that when we have a thought, we have to listen to it and it means something.
Yeah.
So for your mum having a thought of, oh, what if something awful happens? It's like, oh, I must listen to this. I must figure it out. And that's where we fall into the trap, because no amount of wondering, questioning, going over it is going to change the outcome.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. With like last Friday, we had a guy called Crosley on. He's fabulous. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. But he talks about dealing in real, and the mind can't deal with ambiguities. That's what causes anxiety, the ambiguity of the situation, the unknown of the situation. It can deal with yes or no answers. So if you're asking yourself, am I in danger in this physical moment? And the answer is no. Then you can deal with the fact that you're not in any danger in this actual moment. Yeah. If you're thinking, but what if, you're throwing your brain into ambiguity. So no wonder, like you say, you're trying to solution seek something that doesn't have in that moment a solution.
Yeah, and actually will never have a solution. But the other thing that we forget, and I know particularly when people are anxious, they lose sight of actually how resilient we are. Yeah. So we don't need to plan of how will I deal with this. We will just deal with it. We are resilient. We are phenomenal creatures. So we don't have to have it figured out. We don't have to actually, there's some practical planning and getting your week sorted and done. But in terms of how will I deal with this when it happens, we just will.
Yeah, it will just happen, and you will just deal with it. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, fascinating. So often what happens, with people like ourselves, people that are in the service-based industry, it is often because we have experienced something ourselves, and then I say this often survivors serve. Often people who have survived something, what's happened is that they've created a path to get to that point of survival. And it's like when you're in the middle of something that, you've got an adversary, you've got something adverse that's going on, you can't see. It's like being in really long grass. And as a survivor, what you do is you find ways to part that grass and make your way through to the other side. That's kind of survival area. So what often happens is people will say, okay, well, I actually know a way through this grass because I've learned about it. Often people who have survived things like breakdowns and stuff do the best work on themselves when they learn about it, as opposed to trying to, I don't know how you feel about this, trying to take a tablet for it or try and treat a symptom, because they've worked out the root of it. They've worked out the behavior. They've learned about how it works. Yeah. It's easier through the grass. It's easier through that really long grass. You can part the grass easier. So when you get through to that place like you, like me, that place of survival, you kind of look back through that grass to see loads of other people are stuck in the grass. You're thinking, help. like we know, like, wait, so for me, it's, I teach people to choose to fly anyway. I teach people like the show up, rise up strategy and all of that sort of stuff, and linking arms and surrounding yourself with the right people. For you, what brought you to the work that you do? You mentioned something in your 20s. So
I was quite outgoing at school, quite confident, bit of a gobshite, actually. Might not surprise Dani, but,
I'm not. I feel like that's why we've connected this morning. Like, I'm here for you.
And so everything seemed to be fine and dandy. And then went to university, went traveling, like you name it, did all the stuff. And then it was my early 20s, and I just seemed to go within the space of about 2 weeks into this state of literally having a panic attack every hour on the hour. And I had absolutely no clue what the hell was happening to me. No clue. I didn't even know what the word anxiety was, to be honest with you. I had experienced it now looking back, but I'd never recognized it. And so I went back to my mum's. I literally got to the point then where I wouldn't leave the house. So it escalated. It then escalated to the point where I didn't want my mum to leave the house. So she was a prisoner in her own home. I was a prisoner in her home. And it got to the point where I actually went to the doctors and begged them to send me somewhere. And
Oh,
I think the reason for that primarily wasn't for me. I just wanted to give my mum a break. I thought, I can't keep her a prisoner in her own home with a 20-odd-year-old daughter
yeah.
that's crying every time she goes to the local shop for a loaf of bread. I'd actually go with her in the car, sit outside and cry till she come out the shop. I was that
Yeah.
attached. It was bizarre. So I was quite, well, I'll say fortunate. I was quite fortunate in that I had, where I worked at the time, I had private health insurance. So I went to the Priory, which everyone's like, oh, posh. You know what? If you feel awful, you don't give a shit what the curtains look like or the wallpaper or the quality of the sheets. It was like hell anyway, regardless of where I was.
It doesn't matter where you are.
No. So anyway, I ended up going into the Priory and I was there for a month. And I was heavily medicated. So in that month, and I've got a bit of a bugbear with this. I won't get too much on my soapbox, but as soon as
get on your soapbox, babes, that's what you're here for. Like, you get on it, sweetheart.
As soon as I went into that hospital, the first thing they asked me to check was how many inpatient days I had on my insurance, and they told me 30 days. So I was in there 30 days.
Oh man!
And actually, now knowing what I know, that was the worst possible thing they could have done for me. I became completely institutionalized. It was scary. The outside world became a distant memory.
Yeah.
So I was heavily medicated. So by the time I left on that last day of my story, I was calmer because I would defy anybody not to be calm on Valium, beta blockers, antidepressants. Like, calm, but my head I was just none the wiser.
Yeah.
So left, it was really scary, but I had this kind of, I suppose what the tablets did for me at that time is they quieted my mind down a bit. And that allowed my wisdom, my gut instinct to come through a bit and go, right, come on, Sarie. I had that element of hope.
You've got bandwidth for logic when things settle, because when you're feeling anxious like that, when your mental health is affected, it's like being in a snow globe all the time, and that snow globe's being shocked. You can't see anything that's going on. So I guess if it settles a bit, you've got a bit of bandwidth for logic, right?
Yeah, there's room for that clarity, that innate well-being just to shine through for those minutes. And sometimes that's all you need, actually, just to hold on to. So I had that. So if I came away with anything, I had that. And so then I thought, I'm going to have to sort myself out. Like, this can't be my life. I want to go back to Sarie that was traveling the world and went to uni and all of that. So I did got on Google, what do I do now? And then I realized through my searching that I had to probably go and see a therapist. And if I'm honest, I was still really kind of ashamed, embarrassed. I felt that I'd failed massively by having this breakdown. So I didn't really want to go and have therapy.
No, because you're a logical person. Like, if you're naturally a logical person, and the way that your mental health is making you behave is illogical, it brings you into complete conflict. Having had mental health issues myself, and being articulate and being intelligent and being learned, going to the doctors and saying I'm behaving this way, they're like, well, we can't really do anything for you because you know everything.
Yeah, it's like, I know it.
Still washing my hands 20 times a day.
Well, so when I realised this, I was quite crafty, really, because when I look back, I mean, I'm glad it all happened for a reason now, but when I look back, I realised that if you trained as a psychotherapist, you had to be in therapy every week.
You clever sausage.
So that was my inroad. It was so much more palatable to go, oh, I'm training as a therapist, don't you know, because I'm fucked in the head and I need to try and get some answers. What happened.
Right.
But it was great because, it was hard work. It hit me with, and my level of awareness did just skyrocket because I was learning all of this stuff. I was put right in at the deep end. You're very open and vulnerable training as a therapist because it's warts and all. You're stripping yourself back. So it was good. But I still, even though my awareness was much better, I still, every couple of years, would get in this cycle where anxiety would hit me and it would floor me for a few months.
Yeah.
So that's why I then did hypnotherapy. I was constantly looking like, what's going to be the thing that's going to get rid of it? What's going to be that thing?
Because there's a lot of muscle memory involved in anxiety as well, isn't it? So if you say, for example, you manage to get on top of everything, something can happen and your body, it remembers stuff.
Mhm.
So it remembers, how did we deal with it last time to keep us safe? Well, we did this.
Yeah.
And then you end up.
It's all thought related as well. And I think that's the thing that people don't often realize. And I didn't, even as a psychotherapist. Now, this might sound daft because it sounds really simple, that we are experiencing our reality 100% of the time through our thoughts. No exceptions. There's just no exceptions. And even though I knew that intellectually, I didn't really know it in here. So I would think, oh, I'm all right now. And then something might happen in my external world where it rocks me. And because I didn't realize it was inside out then, I think, oh, that's going to tip me over the edge. And then I'd start thinking about it, worrying, what do I need to do to stop it? And I'd try so hard that it would burn me out.
Right.
So that just happened for years on and off.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came across something called The Three Principles by Sydney Banks. He's not alive anymore.
Right.
Good old Sydney. He was actually a Scottish welder.
All right. Why not?
Yeah. Who had an enlightenment moment in his life. And these three principles that he came up with, I won't go into them now, but it's just mind, thought, and consciousness, basically, which is just a description of how we work as human beings. And when I started to hear about this, was listening to podcasts and I just started to explore it, my life just literally transformed.
Wow. Okay.
So my relationship with anxiety massively changed. So if I wake up in the morning now and I felt anxious, in the past, what would happen is I'd feel it. Well, I'd scan for it, actually, as soon as I opened my eyes. Yeah. I'd feel it. And then I'd go, oh, no, it's here. Oh, my God, why is it here? When's it going to go? Right, what do I need to cancel today? I'd get my diary out, right? Fight or flight, back off, everybody. I'm anxious. Whereas now, if I get a feeling, I can honestly say that it's just interesting. I'm just like, oh, wow, God, I didn't realize my mind was busy. It's got to be, because these thoughts are creating these feelings. And I don't fear it, because I lived in fear of anxiety for years. I didn't know what I was anxious about. I was anxious about getting anxious, but that has gone. That's gone. Yeah. So the funny thing is, the less we fear anxiety, it'll show up occasionally because I'm human, but it doesn't stay around for long.
Yeah.
It buggers off.
But that's the thing, is like, and everything is transient. But when you're scared of being scared, and when you're anxious about being anxious, it's a beast that feeds itself. Whereas if you can get to grips with the fact that, okay, what is this? Or I'm scared of being scared, and now I'm scared of being scared. I'm scared of being scared, and it's just like a snowball. Yeah. If you're able to understand that better, I mean, it's a phenomenal awakening, isn't it?
Yeah, and coming from someone who didn't even want to admit to having therapy, it's funny because when I talk now about, how my life's transformed and I've become a much more sort of, spiritual person. And if I could rewind time and look at myself now, I'd be like, she's a bit of a knob. Like, I don't know if she's a bit weird. She's not, but actually I've gone step by step. If someone had have shown me the three principles when I was really anxious, I'd have been like, not for me. It's just a bit woo-woo. It's a bit, but I've kind of gradually got to that. And it's actually, and when I say it's life-changing, so I work a lot now with anxious people, because I said to myself, when I was in that hospital, in that bed at night, and every single night that room would spin, I would cry myself to sleep. It was horrific. And I felt very alone. Even though I was in a hospital full of people, I still felt like it was only me, because I had this disbelief that actually it was really anxiety. So I thought, there's something really wrong with me and they've not discovered it yet, because this can't just be my thoughts, because this is horrific. And I always promised myself on that day, if I get through this, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to help people, because people should not have to suffer in this way.
Not from their own head. It's like
crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. But the lovely thing about it now is that what happened with me is when my anxiety shifted, the really irrational, overwhelming anxiety shifted. It's not only done that, it's enhanced my relationship. My marriage was great, but it's never been better. Yeah, it's my parenting style was completely transformed. I was parenting really before as an anxious parent. So if she would show any slight sign of stress, I'd be like, oh, she's like me.
Yeah.
Like
God, I feel that.
I'm able to step back from all of that. And because I see my own resilience now, I also see hers. And it just makes things so much easier. So now my passion, what I do more so now is I still help those really anxious people, because I'd never leave someone in that state knowing what I know, because I know I can help. But now, as I've progressed, what I love doing now is coaching these principles with people who want to enhance just their life in general, their business, their relationship. So I call it like falling in love with life, because that's what happened with me. Life was difficult. Life was challenging. Life felt like it was hard work. Now it doesn't.
Right. And it's amazing when it's like being handed a set of keys to doors you didn't know were locked. And then you all of a sudden you've got these different keys that do these different things that give you access to different bits of life that you didn't even realize that you would be able to have accessed before. You see all these people when you're in the middle of it, when things are dark, all these people are enjoying life. I mean, that's not for me. I don't even know how to access that bit of me. I don't even know how to access that feeling, that emotion, because my body's in a constant state of trying to keep me safe. I don't even know what I'm keeping safe. And then you're frightened of being anxious. It all spirals out of control. And then when somebody hands you the keys, or you find the keys, if you take responsibility for it and you start to research like you did, or you start to learn, or you start to open yourself up, you find more people who have got to grips with it. And essentially you will get yourself a set of keys, because it isn't just one thing, is it, that unlocks it? It's so many layers.
And using that metaphor, actually, for me, when you were saying that, the thing that came to my head is, it's like I could see the doors, but I thought that behind the doors was like a wonderful party of all together people living a wonderful life. And for me, as daft as it sounds, it sounds like quite underwhelming. But when I opened that door, I just saw that there was just a load of human beings just like me, all trying their best.
Right.
And that itself was like,
it's not just me.
I've desperately wanted this door, and there's not really much behind it other than what I've already got. And then it's like, okay, so how do I now enjoy and live my life as a human being? I'm not a superhuman. I'm not a robot. I can't get it perfect all the time. So it was just that, it was almost like giving in to being human. And the more I did that, the more, like, I laugh about my business. My business has never been so busy, so popular. I've never done so well, and I've never worked as little in my life.
Right. It's so funny. I say it's funny. It's interesting that, again, when you've got this understanding and you're able to share the understanding, and when you give in and you relax, I mean, and it's hard to choose to relax, but when you do, magic really does happen.
Yeah.
It really does.
And that's the thing. People say, I can't relax. Like, how do you choose to relax? But it's almost like further than that. It's like going, it's not about choosing to relax, because we can't force ourselves, but it's about accepting that sometimes we just can't.
Yeah.
But we're still okay. So when I was anxious and fearful of it, and in that cycle, I'd say no to a lot of things, or I'd say yes, and then I'd plan for the next 2 weeks. How do I cancel it? Yeah. Whereas now I say yes, and I don't have to figure out, will I be okay on that day? What if this? What if that? Because I don't know any of that stuff. And actually, I've done stuff where I've gone, in the earlier days, where I've gone to do an event or something. I was talking about this yesterday in my private group, because I was doing an event on anxiety, and everyone was sat in the other room, waiting for me. And I'm in the toilet, green, puking up, with having a panic attack, thinking, I can't physically go in that room. Now, I did. But I think sometimes we go through those things, and and it's about realizing it's not permanent. It's going to pass. If we leave it alone, the body resets really quickly. Adrenaline doesn't stay in the body that long if we leave it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested to know, for the people that are watching this morning, have you felt this before, you guys? Have you, is this a new way of thinking for you? Is this something that you guys have come across before? Because the body's physical way of manifesting anxiety is like, being sick. For me, I need to yawn. Like, I try to yawn,
over breathing, we call it in our house. It's like the can't get your breath type. Yeah.
Yeah, that and again, that you end up panicking. You think, oh, I'm going to die because I'm not going to be able to breathe. And I think for me, it was the understanding. I think I read once that nobody's died of a panic attack.
No.
Nobody's died of a panic attack. And if I just remind myself of that, actually, like that regulation, when you say it doesn't stay around long, you think, okay, well, at the moment, I think I'm going to die, but nobody's died of a panic attack. That's what this is. Okay. Oh, you're not going to die now. What's the worst that's going to happen?
One of the things in my book when I was writing that, I thought one of the examples I was using, I can't remember the exact context, but I was saying like that was it. We don't have to wake up in the morning and tell our heart to beat. We don't have to tell our lungs to fill with air. Now, for some people, it's God. For some, it's spiritual. For some, it's just a knowing that it's taken care of. And when we're anxious, we think, oh, we've now got to take control and take over. And I hear it, deep breaths and even if you don't do deep breaths, at some point your body is going to regulate. That's just what it does. And I said, you couldn't kill yourself by holding your breath. And then when I was putting this in the book, I thought I better bloody Google this because you can probably
someone tries it.
Yeah, but I found out that the furthest anyone's ever got by trying to hold the breath is they've passed out. But the minute you hit the deck, your body takes over and you're going to breathe again. Just does it. We don't need to interfere. And it's the interfering that keeps us stuck. So, if you went to a doctor's and they said, right, Dani, sit down. We're going to put this adrenaline into your body. You're going to feel shaky. You might feel sweaty. You might feel dizzy, but it's going to last for 3 minutes and then it's going to go.
Yeah.
Inject the adrenaline into you. Yeah, it wouldn't be a particularly pleasant experience, but you're going to be thinking, right, it's going to go in 2 minutes, and you're probably going to be fine with it. That's what's happening when we're panicked. But rather than just letting it do its thing and go, oh, I've set off my internal system here, I just need to chill and let it do its thing, we go, oh no, what's this? Why? Because we don't understand it.
Yeah.
And that's the big difference.
So your work now, so like you say, you still work with people who have got anxiety and you still do that, that work. Mm-hmm. But working with people to fall in love with life again, working with people to manage their mindset so that they can turn life up.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Like, what do you do with that? So you mentioned you had a group and all of that sort of stuff. Like, talk to us about that work. What does that look like?
So I do predominantly. So I've got a membership club, and at the moment, a lot of people in the membership club are those that are quite overwhelmed with their mental health. So, even to the point of people that don't want to leave the house and things like that.
Okay.
So the other stuff I've been doing more on a one-to-one, but come the 1st of August, I've got a new membership, which is for those that want to explore these 3 principles. And it's very structured. So it's kind of like, here's your core content. You go through this set of core videos, first of all. And I'm just basically teaching them these 3 principles, which are very, very, in a way, simplistic. But because if I had £1 for every time someone said to me, it sounds too easy to be true.
Nothing's new news as well. Like
nothing's
new news.
And, I see it all the time when I say people share quotes from Einstein or from all these people, these very clever, grounded, enlightened people. They say the same thing because each and every one of them has just seen what it means to be human. That is it.
Right.
It's not rocket science. It's not some formula that someone's come up with that's a big secret. It's just what it is to be human. So that's what I teach people. And then with a bit of a kind of kick-ass, like, come on, get stuff.
Yeah, there's you delivering it, even though it's not new news. People coming to you because you're not mucking about. Like some people need easing into stuff. Mm-hmm. Some people need someone to say, do you know what? This is just how it is. Yeah. And here are some structures. Here are some strategies that you can apply. And if you don't fuck about, then it's gonna work. Yeah. And sometimes you need a bit of that.
You do. And in my membership where people are really highly anxious, I am full on compassion mode, switched on, nurture. That is what they need. I need to model to them how they need to be with themselves.
Yes.
In the group where people are a bit past that, but it's the type of people that say, and I did this for years, the type of people that say, oh, well, I will do that when this happens.
I'm not quite ready. Yes.
When I find the time. When I've sorted this out, then bollocks.
When I'm ready.
Now.
No one's ready.
Never ready, and we don't need to be ready. And so that's where I'm a little bit more direct, a bit challenging. And for me, it's very much you take responsibility for those small steps, create massive big things. We don't need to be. For years, I was up here, so efficient everywhere. Then I'd like crumble. Now I'm just consistently like this, and it works because it goes up eventually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's coming up next for you? So you've got the membership coming up for this in August. What else? What are you excited about?
Do you know, you laugh at this, right? Because, and this happened in lockdown. It's very early stages, but you know when you sometimes have these little moments. I think I was in the garden with a glass of wine and the sun was shining. I thought, if I was to die next week, what would I regret? Is there anything in my business or my life that I think I wish I'd done that? And there's one thing that's always for me, and I don't know why or where it comes from, but I've got this weird obsession with dating.
Okay.
Now I'm happily married. No, other. Okay. I'm a meddler in other people's love lives. I get the pleasure of fixing people up. I don't know.
It's not sorry, it's silly.
Yes, that would be my dream job. So I thought I've always wanted to do that. And what I've come to realise, again, through my own relationship and working with other people, that once we understand what it means to be a human being as well, it takes away a lot of the bullshit and a lot of the stories we have around what we're like in relationships. And I always attract bad people. And great that you've realised that. So can we let that go now? And can we take this
work on how we attract the right people then, right?
And don't carry that with you. So I've always had this ambition to have a dating agency. So, hello, sweetheart.
I told you it'd be about now. She's right on time. Say good morning to everybody. Good morning. Go see Daddy's downstairs waiting for you.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Go and give Daddy a cuddle. He's waiting for you downstairs.
Bless her.
Every morning she comes in and says good morning to everybody. Go on.
Sometimes I don't make on time.
Sometimes she doesn't quite make it, no.
Don't blame you. So I've always wanted to do it. So I found there's nothing on there at the moment, but I bought the website lovedating.co.uk.
Nice.
And the plan is I'm going to do a program. So anybody that wants to eventually be match made or find love or whatever, there'll be an arm for people in existing relationships that want to improve those or whatever. But everybody will have to go through the program to then be available to be match made.
Right.
And it'll be like a 6-week program. So it shows commitment. Like if you can't be bothered to commit to learning about yourself in relationships for 6 weeks.
That's so important. You get dating sites. I didn't mean to interrupt you then, but
right.
People go onto these dating sites, Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, all of these things, and they are not bringing their best selves to the table. And they're wondering why am I not finding the man of my dreams or the girl of my dreams or the person of my dreams on these sites. And it's because nobody's I say nobody's a very, very sweeping statement. And there are some dating spaces that are better than others, but nobody is bringing their ready self to the table.
No. And some people get lucky and it's a bit of a numbers game.
Yeah.
Or do we really want to, around my age now, if I ended up getting divorced and starting again, I mean, I hope I don't, but if I do, then
I don't have time for that shit.
Exactly.
I don't have time to be like this, finding someone like in a catalogue. I'm all right for it.
Absolutely not. And that's where I think, and I've worked with so many people in that same boat where they're so disheartened with meeting people who have either, some of them are already married and they just want a bit on the side. It's like, bugger off. I've not got time for that either.
Yeah.
So this is going to weed out people who are just there to mess about.
To talk about.
And then also when you've done this program, if anyone's a bit nervous about dating or it's something that they've not done for a while, then they've got something in common. They've done the same coaching program. They've got a conversation starter. And so that's what I want to do. I want to so then eventually when people have been through the program, I'll build up a database where I'll do mixers, matchmaking, and they can just go for the lives and meet like-minded, committed people.
I am, do you know what? I am so interested to see how this goes because there's very little like that out there right now.
No, there isn't.
One of my friends she's a dating coach over in And she lives in Bali at the minute, but she travels all over the world with it. But she was saying people come to her for dating, and then they are shocked when she takes them down a rabbit hole of self-discovery before she even talks about somebody else.
Mhm.
And it's that, isn't it? You've got to get this right.
Got to take responsibility for ourselves. We've got to. It's always two-way, and this is, it's not about, thinking about when you did your big festoon and domestic violence. This is not about saying take responsibility and just put up with whatever's thrown at you.
Yeah.
It's about saying see your part in stuff, but equally be able to listen to that wisdom that goes, I'm off.
This is not right. This is a boundary that we're crossing here. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't always do that when our mind's busy, because we'll start that, oh well, maybe it's me, maybe it's this, maybe this is all there is for me. And so once people are able to explore that, then they're going in to a relationship with such a different space in their heads, and I think it's much more likely to work out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and when are you? I know you've got
I
the
know.
main,
Yeah.
when.
I know. I'm
And
so
it's because I want you to come back on when it's ready to go.
Well, what I'm going to do is I've got to get this membership launched in August.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that's done and people are on their way, and because I'm doing all of the content and stuff now, then I'm just going to give it 100%.
Go for it.
Because that is the whole why I bought the Love Dating. It cost me £300 for a web address.
It's a dear do.
It is a dear do, but I thought I need that because what I want people to do is fall in love with dating.
Yeah. Amazing. So, well, do you know what? Again, as with all of our guests, we could talk all morning about all sorts of stuff, and I don't think you and I will ever run out of things to talk about. And it will be an honor to have you back on the show to talk about all these exciting things when they're unfolding and when they're happening, so we can riff on dating a little bit more, because it is a very interesting subject now more than ever. As is everything that you've spoken about this morning. And if anybody does need any help with their mental health, obviously, Sarie will pop her details in for her particular spaces, but we will also pop the details for Mind in the comments as well, so you can go and access any triage if you need it. But thank you so much, Sarie, for joining us this morning. Like my new Beza. She's like here, like that's it. She's in the hive. Thank you for joining us. I will see you soon. You're so welcome. That was Sarie Taylor, everybody. Please do go and check her out. She will pop the links to her groups on the comments, so you can go and check them out a little bit more. So that was another show. That was another week. That was episode 85 of the Show Up, Rise Up show. Excuse me, into week 17 of lockdown, which is just insane, right? We've been rocking out to some songs this morning. We have been getting some lyrics wrong in the first instance. If you have just I'm there. I know. Right, okay. So if you can move out today. So join me on Monday. I don't know what's happened with the sound, but I will be around on Monday. And I will share with you. You can just hear it's better. I've not messed with my connection. I've just come back. Hooray. Oh, thank goodness for that. Thank you for staying with me. So make sure you join me on Monday. We've got another fantastic week coming up on the show. We are booked up, can you believe, all the way until October for people that are coming onto the show. I'm going to be sharing with my email list who is coming up next week. If you do want to sign up to the email list, if you go to imthequeenbee.co.uk, you'd have to / anything. Go to the bottom, pop your email address in, and I will let you know what is happening over the week. We have got another wiki. I'm just having a little look at who we've got coming up next week, and it is pretty epic. Right, you guys, I will see you Monday. Vicky Head, you're joining us next week, aren't you? You're on Wednesday. Join us on Monday, 8 o'clock. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. every single Monday to Friday for more inspirational stories, more educational chats, more of the good stuff instead of the bad stuff when you turn the telly on and watch the news. Thank you for everybody who's supported us in our 85 episodes so far. Make sure that you're sharing what we're up to. If you're not already a member of the email list, please do sign up. You will hear about all of the things first. We're getting all of these things sorted out. So yeah, I love you. Make sure you're following me on the socials at the Queen Bee Dani, and I will see you all bright and breezy on Monday. Have an incredible weekend, everyone.